Hey, critical analysis, here's your video for critical thinking post-test 1. So as a reminder, at this point, this is your 9th skill. So every single other skill by the time you watch this video, which it'll open up in week 13 of the semester, has been open already. And the only one at this point that will not be open is your combined skills, which will open up for week 14, but these are all due on your syllabus. You need to have them done by the end of week 15. Everything needs to be in by then. That is May 9th. So I've been reaching out to some of you who are behind because you cannot pass the class without these mastery skills completed. All right, critical thinking post-test 1. This is a combination of information from chapter 6, 8, and 9, really. So that's why I kind of wait until later in the semester to go over this one, since it does combine multiple chapters worth of info. All right, number 1, knowing the source of material before you read will help you do what? Will it help you evaluate the material's accuracy and soundness, gain clues, the kind of information it'll contain, select the most appropriate materials, or all of the above? All of it. Knowing where the information is coming from, who wrote it, is going to help you do all 3 of those things. Question 2, an assumption is an idea that the writer, so if you look at your options here, an assumption is someone that believes to be true. Assumption does not have to be proven. Now, someone might set out to prove their assumption, but in general, the definition of assumption is something that someone believes to be true. Look at these examples of articles. Which one do you think is likely to be slanted? How to take better photographs, repairing foreign-made cars, careers in the health services, sciences rather. A liberal arts degree is a waste of time. Hopefully you could clearly see that all of them are pretty straightforward, except for the one that claims it's a waste of time. So that's a slant, that's a bias. A generalization can be defined as, so whenever we're talking about a generalization, we are talking about something that is a statement about a group of people based on some members of that group. So question 5 is going to give us an example of that. Question 5, here are some potential examples. If you look, I learned more than I had expected in that communication course. That's not a statement about a group of people. Last semester's English literature course was my all-time, again, not a statement about a group of people. All instructors of the college are highly committed to helping students. Okay, so this uses the word how. The president of the university has a background in This is the only one that groups a group of people together. So generalizations are those things like all women, all men, all teachers, all scientists, is when you're trying to make a statement just because you happen to know a couple of people that fit in that group, but there's no way you could possibly know every woman, every teacher, every scientist. And so it's a statement just based on your small experience with a group of people. So that's question 4 and 5. Question 6, according to polls, more than 70% of voters oppose the new airport proposal. This is an example of what? Well, the fact that they include like this percent, 70%, that's a statistic. So it's not a generalization. It's not someone's personal experience or an informed opinion. That's a stat. That's a piece of information that they collected. It's a statistic. Number 7, when evaluating the internet source, what are these things you should do? Look for sponsor and organization, determine the purpose, cross-check information, ding, 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 do all those things. You can't always trust everything you get from the internet, so you want to make sure that you're double checking. Question 8, writing is considered slanted. So that's another word for saying biased, basically. It could be, if you are, it's based on personal experience, depends on how you're, presenting that. Objective and factual, that's not slanted, that's the opposite. Presents both sides of an issue, again, that's the opposite of slanted. Involves a selection and omission of information. So that's the best answer. I would say sometimes your personal experience could be slanted, but this is a clear definition of bias, like you decide what to discuss and what to leave out. Now, number 9, the Galapagos Islands are located on the equator. What is that an example of? Well, we could verify that. We could prove it, which makes it a fact. And number 10, an example of a value judgment is, so look at these. Accepting a bribe is against the law. I think that's just fact, especially depending on your career. The county clerk was elected for a 3rd term. Ex-convicts should not have to reveal prison time on job applications. I expected the restaurant to be expensive after reading the review. So this is the only one that has a value judgment. It has that phrase like should not when someone's trying to persuade you to believe one way or the other. All right, so that is critical thinking post-test 1. Post-test 2 will also be open if you would like to practice, but hopefully this helps you finish that 9th skill. All right, see you next time.